bring each other treasures. We bring each other treasures, something found on daily rounds or read in newspapers, a rock with an interesting shape, a feather, news of political import, a new book he thought I'd like. Each day at 3 o'clock, a tangerine. I always inspect the fibers as I pull them off the sections, the original umbilical which nourished the formative stages and now protect the fruit from bruising, as does the loose peel. You tell me of your afternoon adventures, transplanting some Queen Anne's lace, mowing grass, working in the wood shop, reading. We throw the tangerine remains away, then get on with the afternoon. The collection of rocks has grown along the windowsill. The feathers are placed by some bird carvings. Newspapers, articles cut from the daily and Sunday papers, fill file folders in both our desks. Someday our children will have to come to grips with our collections. I do not envy them. It will be like gripping the soul out of the house.
Speaking of house.
Very good. That rings true.
Would you pass that down to Patricia?
Poems are poems of passion. Yeah, there's something coming from us that needs to be expressed.
So they're loved.
It's a kind of a love, yes.
It's something that needs to be expressed.
I think that I love the sharing part of it. You know.
I like to quote that Billy Collins saying that every poem is about the poet. There's one person that is the subject of every poem, and that's the poet.
Yeah.
All right, one bird. Someone is singing out there in the woods. Time out from feeding. It's time to just sing. A lesson from birds. Take time out from doing and getting. It is time to just sing. How futile it is to always be striving. How simple it is to rest and enjoy. These are the thoughts of a lover of nature who seeks to mimic our dear winged friends.
Very good.
Nice.
I need
Speaking of
to
love
listen
poems.
to that lesson a little more carefully during the course of this summer.
Probably the most bird singing is territorial anyway. So I mean, and also the whippoorwills are out. They sound so beautiful the first 10 minutes, and you want to shoot little bastards.
No!
Because they're noisy, and so it's a repetition. They oh, be quiet. You've had your say. It's enough.
Oh, well, it depends on how close they are, maybe.
Well, I live out in the country, so they're pretty noisy.
About 5:30, the wrens start singing at my house.
Yes,
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
5:30.
I don't know what type of bird it is, but we get serenaded. It's very early also.
One of my favorites is the pileated woodpecker, and I love hearing that. It's just the jungle sound to me. And July evening. Many voices tonight. Cicadas, katydids, along with late bird song. Sounds as if every tree is filled with earth music. Blue sky, white clouds floating. Dark is so very near. And then the insistent creatures singing their lullabies are suddenly quiet. So they
And when it goes quiet like that, it's really a magic moment, isn't it?
It
You
is.
wonder what's going
Yeah.
to come. You're alert. Boy, why did it stop? You know,
Yeah.
what do they know that I don't know?
Who's creeping around?
I was listening to a cicada just yesterday, coming back from this camping trip in Pennsylvania. And I just thought, that is the quintessential sound of summer, it seems.
You can usually set your clock by them, can't you? The cicadas get started at a certain time of day and...
Yeah, maybe late afternoon.
I used to wonder if it was temperature.
It's cricket. You can tell the temperature of a.
And the crickets.
Yeah, the crickets, yeah.
Yeah.
I like peepers.
Yeah.
I never tire of peepers.
Well, when the first I moved out to the farm we have now on Stroud's Run Road, it was so very much an undeveloped area, and the peepers were so noisy at night. You couldn't hear anything else but the old peep chirp.
Where do you live
On Stroud's Run Road, the old Jordan place. And I love it out there. I could never move back into the city. Even having as small and dear as it is, I could not live that close by Jal with people again. Every time sharing my house with a darn deer and an occasional snake. Which takes a lot more scary than the middle of the night when you're barefoot in the bathroom.
That would be.
It freaked me out.
Well, it doesn't wake you up when you can't go back to sleep. I've told her brother I was around 6. I'm not afraid of them at all, but they're a lot more frightening when you aren't expecting them at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I remember a student one time
How many
writing
more do we need?
about waking up in the morning
we're
I
all
think she
set.
has.
with his girlfriend sleeping beside him, and right by her head a snake. All curled up on the pillow.
Whoa.
And the dilemma of how to get rid of the snake without waking the girlfriend and freaking her out, you know.
Well, it's probably a black snake, and so probably just waking up and most poisonous snakes are terribly, terribly shy. And unless you surprise them or accost them,
This
They
one wanted
say-
the warmth.
yeah, it's probably a black snake or a garter
They will
snake.
bite.
Oh yeah, they all will
That's
bite.
amazing.
Yeah.
It would
I've
do
been
that
bitten
beside
by
a
one.
person,
Yeah.
not beside a person's
And
head.
cold.
Gosh. I mean, that
They're more afraid of you than you
Yeah,
are.
uh-huh. I've been once by a little 5-inch water snake. And those are the one with the crabby snake that will bite you quite happily. They have a nasty temperament.
So anyway, hide and seek. Everyone have hide and seek?
Yeah.
Yeah, my muse is on summer vacation, and so he's left me with some remainders, I guess, or something here. Hide and seek. Ready or not, here I come. It's getting dark and you are in hiding. Have you covered your tracks? Don't accidentally kick the ash can. Ready or not, life's challenges call. You no longer can be what you have been.
Yeah.
Wow. You've governed your face and straightened your dress. Ready or not, you will be judged. The focus is on you. You've got to come out. Can you make it safely and act as you should? Ready or not, I've counted to 100. You are waiting to spy me, and when it looks good, you'll rush to beat me to home base. Ole, ole, oxen free. It's safe for you all now. The night draws us, comforting. We're all on the same side. Is the arrival of darkness deceptive? Have you all changed, or have I? It's a good game on a good night, but we can be a bit shaken. A friend can be doubted. Would someone peek? If you all went off and left me, would I be alone forever? When the game is over, we head to our real homes, and when we lay there in bed, are we deeply alone in the dark?
Oh my gosh.
I used to play that game.
Not all good.
Hide and seek, hide and seek, or capture the
It's a
flag.
good city game.
That's not a love poem.
But there's joy in writing it, so it was a love poem. Is there any etymology for oxen free?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wondered
income
about
free
that.
is what we used to say.
Well, I just, anyway.
There are different
A little
sayings.
bit different.
Yeah.
We said
I never
ollie,
thought about
free,
how it's
something like
spelled.
that.
In-free.
And free, yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't say
in-free.
oxen free, but
Yeah.
we said it.
I only remembered the sign, and when I looked up hide and seek, Wikipedia gave these
That's
words, so
Yeah.
I used that.
That's probably accurate,
Well,
we
that's
probably
some-
bastardized it. over the
It
years.
probably is something that it came from just like we were in Rosie.
Uh-huh.
No, I'd
Yeah.
I
like
thought
to
it
know.
had something from you, about you coming from Michigan to
Oh,
Detroit.
yeah. Well,
And the cheese people.
Cheese people.
Cheese people. Michigan. Well, I know it's probably
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is cheese, but Michigan has some cheese too.
We were factory, auto
Yeah.
factories.
Yeah.
Almost everybody on my block worked at an auto factory.
The Scandinavian farm.
I remember one night, we had a big yard in the country, and we were playing hide and seek, and my girlfriend spotted, my cousin spotted me. At the same time, I saw her, and we both ran toward base, and we crashed together.
Oh, God.
I'll never forget that.
Huh?
Well, it was great, you know. Every evening was full of activities
Yeah.
because there were a lot of
Yeah.
kids in the neighborhood.
Right.
Till dark.
And
Exactly.
if it wasn't baseball, it was, and then it gets dark in these other games.
We had a game where we would play pool, and there was a piece of black tar that was on the street, to sort of mend a crack or something like that. But we would pretend it was a real rope. And every kids on either side of that long black tar thing, and a car would come by, and then somebody would yell, "Pull!" And then we'd start running because the car would stop, and sometimes they chased us.
Oh, wow.
I don't think my kids ever jumped rope.
Huh.
Oh gosh!
Really?
Well, they weren't girls, were they?
Well, it didn't make any difference.
That's
Anybody
true.
can jump rope.
That's true, but it was really a
But,
girl thing in
you
our
know,
school.
it's such a simple
Yeah.
thing. And yeah, it was fun and it had style.
Yeah.
And it's now gone,
Well, you know,
really.
those in competition now. This is fancy groups that do the multiple people jumping rope and multiple
Right.
ropes being.
The other day, I was
Long,
walking on the
yeah.
bicycle path, and there was a guy jumping rope extremely well.
Gosh, that's
I
great.
complimented him.
But how old was he?
Was he moving along?
Probably around 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Young chap.
Yeah, boxers do all these fancy
Yeah,
things
yeah.
with it.
Yeah. A
Was
lot
he
of
moving
athletes.
or just in one spot?
He was, when I saw him, he was in one spot. Yeah,
This is East Park. We go there a couple of times a week.
West Park.
Oh,
West side.
dictators.
Okay, on the other side, we have dictators and you. This is from May. I guess I was annoyed with somebody out there in the world of politics trying to dictate to me. The power of dictators relies on your perception. They can punish or benefit you, release or limit consequential information, make you socially acceptable or rejected. Think of Hitler, Boko Haram, Stalin, the imam who issues a fatwa. Think too of the Pope, priest, pastor, to whom grant similar power. To whom we grant similar power? By golly, what happened? Think of your mom and dad, a mayor or president, Beethoven and the Beatles, Eliot and Hemingway. Think of the neighbors and your social club that watches you. Does the banker tie you up with a mortgage? Think of those who weave a story that says they've created the mysteries and beauties of nature and can give you absolution for the mistakes you have made.
Ooh. I think I see some cynicism in here. Reading off the page.
Yeah, that's another letter to the editor and a fit of anger.
Well, it's easy to share.
Yeah, you mean dictators or influence, right? Influence is a word that
Sure, influence.
seems to
Yeah.
be.
Having influence.
Yeah.
We're all followers to some degree anyway.
But to a large degree, it's dependent upon your perception of their position with respect to you. Whether it's because they are such good guys or whether they are such evil guys that they can do you in. or whether they can force a way of thinking upon you that will make you
Try not to laugh.
non-acceptable. Hey, banana.
And it's my turn, okay.
Hosanna.
Some of you will remember some of the banana songs.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Belafonte is one of my favorites. Day-O, come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me bananas.
Yeah.
Daylight come and they want to go home. If you remember what that song was about, there was a worker they worked all night loading stalks of bananas. And then the boss man came around who counted them. He was the tally man who counted how many you had loaded. And at daybreak, you waited for the guy, you were exhausted and you wanted to go home, and you waited till the tally man came and told you how much you had earned loading bananas.
Okay.
I grew up around bananas because New Orleans was a major import center of bananas, and the United Fruit Company, and this became Chiquita Banana, was always a part of my life. I've had a banana every day of my life for 77 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of bananas.
Wow.
But the bananas come in a lengthy stalk,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
this long, and that is a pretty heavy load.
It's very heavy.
And so they have to sling these things on their shoulder.
Oh, it
Hence
is very
it's-
heavy.
And they're green. Very nice.
Well, my family, my mom and dad always had a stalk of bananas hanging in the pantry. Not a hand of bananas, a stalk which had, I don't know, a dozen hands of bananas
Right,
on it, and,
yeah.
and plantains and stuff like that too. So bananas, and banana republics, banana barons, banana pudding, banana everything. So bananas, I went bananas. So, and this will call into play your challenge of what's the difference between a prose poem or a prose and a poem, because this is essentially prose. Hosanna to the banana. Behold the marvelous banana, a fruit known to ancient Egyptians. From the Arab word banan, the name means finger, as a single banana is called. It's now America's most popular fruit, delicious to eat, but with many secrets. Bananas are radioactive and they float. The banana plant is the world's largest herb, not a tree, and the fruit is actually a berry. Secure in its skin and bent like a boomerang, bananas are perishable and spoil quickly, but are rich in vitamins, potassium, and fiber. You avoid those stringy things called phloem, thanks Kathy, phloem, by peeling a banana from the end opposite the stem. While a discarded peel is a slippery slide for walkers, banana skins can also shine shoes, balm insect bites, whiten teeth, remove splinters, polish silver, ripen avocados, fertilize soil, and repel aphids. Oh, that's true.
Honest to gosh.
Over 1,000 species of banana exist, but the Cavendish cultivar is America's main variety. Since they are the product of a monoculture, all Cavendish bananas are genetically identical. Today, a fatal fungus threatens their extinction. How ironic that what is a phallic symbol to some is in fact a sterile, seedless, impotent clone. While the Cavendish may vanish from future markets, other varieties are likely to survive as long as humans. Like people, bananas seem to smile, facing doom. This amazing fruit is likely to continue to be appealing.
Well, that's the most I've ever learned about a banana.
The thing I said about the banana skin is true. If you ever have an insect bite and you rub banana peel on your insect bite, it'll soothe away
The inside of
sting.
the peel or the outside of the peel?
Inside.
Pardon me?
The inside of the peel?
It's only with consenting adult bananas. But if you peel a banana and you stick your finger down its throat, peel it first to the soft part, and you push your finger inside, the banana will split into 3 identically equal prongs, all the way down to the end, and you're going to have done the Holy Trinity.
Do it.
Of
It
course.
works. It just works.
That's
Peel your
interesting.
banana and stick your finger at the end, and you'll have 3.
Wow.
Which astonishes me every time I
Triangles.
do it, because all of the major vitamins are in a banana. And some of them have like serotonin or calming and reduce anxiety and or people say cure depression. There are also all kind of bizarre claims about bananas that I didn't go into. These are the ones I listed are pretty much established.
Yeah.
What if you
There
had
are
an entire
museums about
plate?
bananas. You know, there are people who are like me are crazy about bananas. There are people who collect the little stickers, you know, that go on bananas. And they have very expensive collections, vast collections. And there's a museum out in Washington. When I grew up as a youngster in New Orleans, I have 2 identical twin sisters. They're 3 years older than I am, and so they tended to order me around. And it was always my job to go into the pantry to get the bananas or plantain, and my mother would slice it and cook it with brown sugar, and it was absolutely delicious. That was our breakfast. But I always dreaded going into the pantry to look at this stalk of bananas because my sisters told me they were full of spiders. Tarantulas. Tarantulas. Tarantulas are as big as your fist. And the myth, it's not true. Most tarantulas are not fatal in their bites, but I didn't know that. I thought if anything that big would kill me for sure. But what it was supposed to do is to trigger a dance. Tarantella is a famous dance, which is done by people who go berserk, and they go on a frenzy of uncontrollable dancing. So my sisters would always threaten me to watch out for the spiders because we want you to come dancing for the rest of the day. I never did, but I always had a fear that I might. Sorry, go ahead.
It's just, I was going to make a transition.
Please.
That you've got.
No, I was just going to say I accept what Tom said. I think that's probably true. And I'm very taken, probably more than many in this group, with structured poems with established meter and length and.
You do it very well.
Well, I don't know how well I do it, but I like that. I like to have a net when I play tennis. So. Your turn. Sorry.
I like to try to rhyme the lines.
Yeah, I do too, on occasion.
Okay, the transition is banana. Let's see. As an athlete, we eat bananas to reduce our cramps. And I was so fond of bananas that my doc said, "You have a potassium overload. Where are you getting that?" I said, "Oh, I apologize. I eat a banana every time I go through the kitchen." He said, "Well, let's cut that down." I don't know what the ill effects of potassium is, but he told me, reduce it.
Oh,
But
interesting.
it does help with cramps.
You're radioactive, probably.
Okay. I was encouraged to show today, so what I've been working on is Ron Ziegler and another brother-in-law and a niece, and Ron has cancer, and he's actually an ex-brother-in-law. My sister, he was married to, had leukemia and survived that for 11 months. And then my wife's sister also had leukemia, survived 11 months. So this is a dreadful disease in our minds and hearts. So this is an attempt to send an encouragement to Ron while he's here, not belatedly. And then there's another one to my sister's previous husband has 2 strokes and seizures, and so I'm writing these to different family members, and so I'm collecting them in little notebooks and send them off as a collection to the larger family. But okay, back to Ron Ziegler.
Nan, you're going to have to introduce this program to television as the revealing of the banana.
Banana stripped down.
That I've struggled with this to be poetry. This does not really sound like a poem, other than it's lined as such. But I think it could have been.
I accept that criticism. What Patricia gave us the other day, I have it right in front of me, says there are 5 fundamental qualities that distinguish poetry from prose. Concern for the line as opposed to the sentence. Greater attention to the sound of language, the development of rhythms, a heightened use of images, and a tendency to create density by implying far more than is stated directly. So I contend 3 out of those 5 things are present somewhere in my
Long observed here is that the essay-type poem is the one that stimulates lots of discussion in the group, because we have information and so on, stories to swap. Yeah.
What I've been working on is Ron Ziegler and another brother-in-law and a niece. And Ron has cancer, and he's actually an ex-brother-in-law. My sister, who's married to Ron. These are our admirations for you as our brother-in-law and friend. From Jerry, that's my brother, Mary, wife, Larry, Brand Brock, Jageman, and Kirby Clark. And Ron, you are lean, strong, handsome man who was an airman missile guardsman who served our country to retirement, bringing you an era of contentment. You're warm, kind, caring, helpful, honest, and sharing. For us family and many a friend, and those in need through to the end. For your parents, family, and in-laws, you take time to listen and converse with all. You watch or play a game and share a meal. You cooked for us. That is a big deal. You openly express your love that is quiet as the coo of a dove, with compassion for those in need, that inspires you to do them a good deed. You and your wife are housemates who industriously work as helpmates, who work and play some days as teammates, who commit and pray for each other as mates. You've been a great parent for Deidre. Actually, he's a step-parent to Deidre. And are a grandparent for Sheree. You attend to, visit, and check on them, and care for, share for, and love them. Ron, you really like NASCAR, probably your favorite sport by far, but you also like to hunt and fish to create a special dinner dish that brings you joy and pride to cook. Then afterwards, you, maybe I should say, even clean up every nook. You're also a great maintenance man, doing everything you can, the best you can for your auto, garage, home, deck, lawn, working till dusk and starting at dawn. Ron, you're our relative and more, one we can count on for sure. You're a very good friend, best our Lord could send. We hope and pray for your recovery, for your hope, for your health, for your persistence, patience, and peace, giving your life and wife Pam a renewed lease.
Very nice. I was wondering if you've had any response from the ones that you've written before because you've written others to family.
Yes. And it's more than family, but yes.
Yeah.
That's why they keep coming. Because some who get missed say, "You miss me." Literally.
Where's
Yeah.
my page?
Where's mine?
Yes.
So every
right.
poem-
Right. There's a request.
Every poem is about one person, the poet.
Yeah. Well,
So this is about you.
well, I actually solicited input from other family members who gave me a little thought too, so it's not just me.
Oh, that's great. So it's now becoming like a family friend type of activity
Yeah.
in your writing. That's tremendous.
And I didn't want it to be so narrow as my understanding, because he has a life beyond me. So I called in those that I thought might share.
Very nice. Is there a particular reason for the flag in the background?
Yes, he served the United States through the Air Force.
I was wondering if it had a.
An airman, missile guardsman.
I was wondering if that's what it was, or maybe if his birthday was in July.
No. Yeah, there's a time when he
They're
was.
coming at me from every side.
I'll hold it.
And again,
So you spell your name C-R-Y-S?
Mhm. My dad thought it'd be unusual and marked it apart, but I'm either Cyrus or Cries Cooper. I always tell people who know me when they ask me on the phone, and I said, yes.
So
Chris.
that is your main name?
No, I'm Carol Christine. It's my middle
Christine.
name. I'm Carol.
Okay.
My first name is Carol, and you know, my people always go by the middle name, and even that's more confusing. Carol Cooper. Oh, that's me. Uh-huh. My family. I think my parents were thinking evil thoughts about me most of the time.
Oh.
Things to bollocks me up with. I included the one I read last time, since I read it so fast. But Pluto, I really enjoyed that whole Pluto flyby. I think that was absolutely mind-boggling as far as the science of it goes, and also terribly romantic as far as science goes. I don't know if anyone remembers here, about 20 years, or more than that, 30 or 40 years ago, it was the first science series on PBS, Jacob Bronowski, The Ascent of Man. That was just blew me away. I just thought it was just so wonderful that just great science and language here. Pluto, recently demoted. The last size doesn't matter. Death becomes you. Jared crossed the Stygian Kuiper belt to become your largest and closest acolyte. Your other minions are many, but impotently minuscule. If you'd been weightier, you would have drawn them to you. It would still be a planet. Your icy polar cap would strike down polar bears, as lethally as global warming does. Yes, that does become you, as that becomes us. And homage to Pogo and Moore Kelly.
Does become
Well, the caps on Pluto are methane or nitrogen, so they would be terribly poisonous to polar bears.
Now, isn't it funny, for so many years we thought it was a planet? Huh.
Well, it basically is a very small one. It's just that with the Kuiper belt and all the other outside planetoids circling the sun, it's sort of lost. Although it was picked out of the mass, it's still sort of put back lost in the shuffle. So it's still a planet, but it's a small planet, not the planetoid or whatever they've classified it as. And I think also it's pretty neat. It's just, and the fact that it's going to take 6 months for that satellite to transfer all the pictures to take back to us. That just
6 months.
that's just neat. It takes that much longer to you take them, then you wait for a long while for the pixels to come to us. But that's just wonderful.
I think the thing that fascinates me about transmission like that is maintaining over such a tremendous length. I mean,
Yeah.
something that's just sort of beyond what we think about or understand.
When considering on Earth with our either dish, cable, or just transmitting through the air, whenever it gets bad weather, whenever you get snow, you think that you get snow from that
Oh,
too.
I understand. It is the miracle.
Yeah, not
of the
good, but
coherence.
what you're saying is how
Yeah.
a lot of bubble gum, I guess, or duct tape.
What? What'd you say?
Wait a minute, either bubble gum or duct tape. Give you the information, the data straight.
Are you gonna read the other one?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's probably a better one, but all the world is stage, as are all the words. Atoms singing to their quanta. SPF shells, subshells singing, roiling, spinning songs of energy, attracting, repelling neighbors, some of good background, others from the wrong side of the periodic table. All the chaos, entropy, synergy whistling into the music of the spheres. Big bangs, black holes come and go in the orgasms of expansion and contraction, of the unfolding of new worlds and new breaths. Touches of God's creative clemency. I didn't like benevolence, but it was clemency last night.
I think breaths would be just S, not ES.
Probably yes, but and I'm not.
Yeah. And when you read it, you read orgasms.
Well, I thought it should have been. They cut it out. I wanted orgasm plural.
Yeah.
It just sort of like the.
I think it works better as plural. Yeah, that's good.
What'd you say about breaths? Is it new breath? What?
Breaths
Without the E.
without the E. Yeah, and I like
It
clever.
would have been breathes in yes.
I
New
like-
breathes?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
New breaths.
it should have been. Yeah, you're right.
I like clemency better than benevolence.
Yes, that's right. I said last time I didn't like benevolence, and I couldn't get the right word. So I went to my synonym dictionary, which is easier to use it than Roger, and so clemency.
So do you
that's
have
nice.
a science background?
Oh yeah, my BS is in zoology from OU. I have an associate's in zookeeping in Florida, and I have a master's in library science from Kent State OSU.
Yeah.
I like
That's cool.
the feeling in the top one here about the sounds of the universe and the singing of the universe, whether it's spinning or whether spinning planets or whether it's sounds from satellites. I mean, it's just there is even our word universe is like one verse, one sound. So I like the idea of the playing with the idea of the singing universe.
Well, the fact that we are still hearing the echoes of the Big Bang up in the part of the regions, to me, it's
going to echo back.
Off
The
of something?
sound of the Big Bang is going to echo back when it hits the outside edge of the universe.
everyone falls down. Everyone falls down. Huh?
That's like in
It's
2 weeks.
Pythagoras and the music of the
Oh,
sphere.
Yeah, that's one of the I think Romantic poets use that phrase, and also Bernard used it in the Ascent of Man, which I always call the Ascend of Man, which we show to the rest of creation. I'm misanthrope, so I don't like. But
I have a question for you.
mhm.
Do gods create because of curiosity or some other reason?
Who knows? We're not gods. We pretend to be, but also, that's why it shows clemency, because you're always asking, why would God allow this? A benevolent, creative God who created this world with all of its complex checks and balances, allow Charleston to occur, or allow any of the other horrendous man's travesties upon on the planet or on people to occur? Why do they come in and say stop? Like supposedly did during because of the flood.
Where's the control room for God?
And he needs to be a little more intrusive, or she does.
Do you think that's located outside the boundary of the universe, maybe?
I wouldn't want anything to do with it.
So that he can direct, he, she, it can direct all of the universe? Has to be aside and apart from it? Where is God's control room?
Ask Lovelock.
Yes.
I was, the poems you'll get from me today were written as I was driving back and forth to Connecticut. And as when I listened to the radio back and forth for a 10 to 12 hour drive each way, there was an interesting show about a man who wrote a book about shame. And he did a lot of research with violent prisoners. And he came up with a statement that I really like. I'm getting back to, I think, the issue here. And that is that all violence is an effort to convert shame to self-esteem. And I just sat with me for a while, and I like it. And the irony of it is that so many of our religions have in fact created shame in us, which has had the opposite effect of what it should be, of feeling bad about oneself, and therefore I now, in my violent response, to return my self-esteem. So, I think. Anyway, that's just an aside.
Yeah, well, violence is a common outcropping of depression as well. So violence and aggression serve as sort of a corrective to self. Yeah, depressed people are very prone to get violent.
To work, he does home renovation, so I go to work with him. And I listen to the radio a lot. So I have a little story behind the first one. First one is called Pay to Pray. And as I'm driving across Pennsylvania, we often hear, if you're flipping through the channels, there are these various preachers that come on, and all these various religious channels that seem to exist throughout Pennsylvania. I don't know where they are there, but anyway. So I was stuck in a traffic jam during one of these trips, and I decided rather than wait for just sit there, I wrote a poem.
Good for you.
This is Pay to Pray. The preacher paces back and forth across the altar stage to tell us how to live our lives amidst the strife and rage, to read the book and do good works, to be the best we can. But most of all, he tells us straight, we need to pay the man. Say tithes or dues or love offerings, it costs you just the same. For prayer requests or guidance tapes, cash puts you in the game. But why, I'll cry, should it be so that we should have to pay? For I've been taught God loves us all, no matter what you say. Ah, God's love is true, I can't deny, I've said it so myself. But let's be sure we understand before you hide your wealth. Mercedes cars and Rolex watch are things that I must own. I'll drive around and paint the town and tend the seeds I've sown. I'll save some souls, I'll make it right to knock on heaven's gate, but with your credit cards and checks, I beg you not to wait. Just send the dough and don't delay, for heaven's sake, and mine. See, God has patience, always has, but banks aren't so benign.
Very good.
Oh my God, that is scathing.
It's a business. Unfortunately, these people and
Well, even when they are, I think running, the unions are businesses. We kind of took all of the wondrous arts that's collected over the 2,000 years roughly, and all the the same way. Is that it's all acquisition of wealth and power. They try to put in that in quite those terms, most of them, but some are as hucksterish as leading for you're talking about the radio priests.
It's
Well, there's
I
been many exposés.
Oh, yeah.
How many? I can't say any of their names, but how many have been paraded
Yeah.
before us?
The back is a little more serious note. As I was doing all my driving, it's called Cars.
Oh.
Thunderous herds of steely beasts hurtling past me in packs and streams, an endless cast, heading towards, well, God knows where, and all of us appearing not to care, consuming vast amounts of ancient light, an endless display of voracious appetite, empty shells of power and speed that feed our egos, our boundless greed. Is anyone thinking of what we are doing to the home in which we're now all stewing? Once thriving in a garden of green and blue, we're now in a pot that's cooking me and you.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Whoa, whoa.
Well, I've also just read some of Pope Paul's latest encyclical on the planet, and talk about nice writing. Usually, the Pope's writings are rather deadening in the sense of just all this verbosity, and he's pretty darn good.
This book I mentioned earlier, where we were talking about racism, about the journalist that writes for, I think, the Atlantic. Anyway, he made the comparison that this racism that has been relevant throughout our society, throughout its time, is now being supplemented by the same kind of ignoring and capitalizing on and profiteering and so forth to kill the planet. You know, it's the same set of self-serving, profiteering, ignorance or burying of the truth and so forth that has allowed the racism to thrive, is allowing the global pollution to thrive.
Sarah Palin and Drill, Baby Drill.
interesting. Yeah.
I had this feeling like we're not, somehow we don't really care. I have this feeling that, and I feel it in myself, poems are about us, that the planet's going to hell anyway, and there's not much I can do about it, so I'll just keep driving my car back and forth to Connecticut. And it's troubling. It's very, very troubling to me that I think we are all, myself, I'll speak for myself, we're contributing to this melting pot. We're all in the pot melting.
Other countries, some other countries, like Japan, for instance, with their huge bullet trains and that carry millions of people instead of singly in cars. They're
They're delaying.
They make sense, but in this country, we don't have anything like that.
Well, we haven't put any into infrastructure for the past 40 years. I mean, just like all the power grids and all that crud.
The what?
Power grids.
Oh, power grids.
Just to transplant energy from the power plants where they produce it to our little hungry homes with our AC and all of our contrivances and contraptions that suck up the energy. And
Anybody familiar with the movement in South America and Central America called Bien Vivir?
No. Tell us
I didn't
about
think
it.
so. It's something sort of coming out of the indigenous populations of these countries to say that sustainable living is a goal, and it's quite a movement, and to think that we sit here, rather educated people in this country, and you've never heard of it. And that tells me something about how the press manipulates the news that we get daily monthly and yearly, and what else don't we know that's going on? You know, Athens County itself is home for an awful lot of people and movements that try and aim for sustainability.
And someday, what, revolution will put an end to it, or what?
Well, there's a couple of companies in the United States and then around the world that are now trying to introduce cars into the market that do not use fossil fuels. And they're blocked at every source of supply.
Plus, the population is booming, and there's a great reluctance to treat that as an issue whatsoever.
No, birth
How many
control.
kids are you gonna have? How many kids are your kids gonna have? And, you know, China had a one-child policy, and isn't that wonderful? Look what it's done for the planet.
Well, I think probably the most obscene show on TV is the Dugars. I just say that whole concept revolts me. It is competitive appropriation. Eh.
We don't take responsibility.
I mean, it's because God told us not to. God, go forth and multiply.
I guess. From his control room, he said, "Go to it."
How many of us like to be told what's good for us?
No one.
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Ford Focus.
What's
Wow.
your gas mileage?
Can you pick us up?
On the highway, I can get over 40 miles per gallon.
Do tell me.
Really?
Can you pick us up? What is your phone?
Yeah.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, we need
Yay.
All right.
lightness.
New
Lightness,
grandma.
the lightness of being.
It's called Really You Have to Laugh.
Oh, good.
You should want to.
Oh, yippee!
Incredible lightness of being.
Kandera, isn't it? The author? Kandera, was that the other?
I don't
I
know.
don't like to be told that I have to do anything. Laugh was one of the better ones.
Don't read ahead.
Don't read the ending first either.
Okay. Really, you have to laugh. When an orange-red neon sign appears one street over in someone's front window that only says, happy. It greets you first thing each morning when you pull the bedroom curtain back, whether you've slept well or not, whether life is the usual ambiguous mess or not, or even whether it's teetering on your tragedy. And then again at the kitchen counter, waiting for tea water to boil as you examine the estate, that blooming backyard garden, the inviting rope hammock, and oh yes, just above the fence line, that vigilant neon red reminder appears again to ponder daily what exact state happy really is, beyond the lilting sound of the word itself. The job is most certainly for you, the one with a view. It's a dare, all right, to be or not to be light, however you define it.
Well,
A happy sign, how big is it?
It's really about this big.
Oh.
Do you know who has it? Do you know the people who?
I don't know their name. And people see it as they go down the street, but I'm the one whose house looks at it all the time.
Whether you want to or not, huh?
It's like, is this just for me?
only on when I'm awake.
right. So I thought, really, sometimes they, if you ever read any stuff about other dimensions, they say that the gods or the angels or whatever you want to call them are laughing all the time, trying to make us lighten up,
There's a great saying that I've heard is, angels can fly because they take themselves lightly.
I like that.
I like that. Gosh, Tom, I'm writing all your words down today.
Everyone ever consider what an angel skeleton looked like?
Yeah.
I think it's a good for anatomy.
Well, it has to have it because it has form.
You have to consider what an angel's anatomy is like.
Well,
Your assignment for next time is to draw an angel skeleton.
Find the skin bone. Where do angels go to die? Huh? Well, that's an interesting question. Where do their bones go?
Imagine
they
both
don't-
arms and wings, and where you would fit them on the
Who
spine.
says they have bones? Who says they have bones?
Well, they have forms, they have to have some form of structure, or else they're not, because they're not in this world, maybe they don't, but if they are at all intermediary between God and man, they have to have some sort of structure to keep them together.
If they're real, they have bones.
Or for real,
If they can be real and not have a structure.
They have wings of
where's the backbone in your
Shrink
spine?
wrap
In
or
your
something.
soul.
Imagine where it's just a problem I've always had.
It's a glorious day, I think, meeting, I think.
I'm really pondering about that question. Where's the backbone in your soul? I think there is an answer.
Sven thinks there's one somewhere.
I have two of them.
Two answers.
I walk on them all the time. My souls. They're near neighbors of my heels.
Uh-oh.
Is this yours?
Is your
Yeah,
soul a
that's mine.
heel?
Yeah, this, I just wanted to pass it around.
Oh, I did want to
never
take a
got
look.
this way.
It never got
It never got
beyond
past George.
Yeah.
Don't